Hello, and welcome back to the Misty Morrison podcast. I'm your host, Misty Morrison, and this is episode 61 of Was I in the Wrong? Here on the Misty Morrison podcast, we love to read or listen. We love to give advice and help people look back on their situations with that 2020 vision to see how they could have handled the situation more gracefully. Before we get into the stories for the day, our usual housekeeping, whether you are new or returning, please, please, please engage with the content. I am trying to grow the channel. I'm trying to make a dream real. So help a girl out, like, subscribe, share it with a friend, comment with your thoughts, all the things. Mr. Morrison Podcast is available on podcast on YouTube, and short form content is posted daily. All right, into our stories for the day. Story number 1 is coming to us from r/WIBTA_AITA. Would I be the asshole if I told my friend to stop oversharing super intimate details about everyone in her life? I, 22 female, have a friend, 22 female, Tammy. Tammy and I have known each other since high school, but we only got close a few months ago. She's honestly a really kind and fun person to hang around with. I love her to bits too, which is why I feel kind of bad posting this. Lately, I've noticed she overshares a lot. I don't mind a bit of juicy gossip or a bit of context to understand better, but this is just too much. Tammy tends to overshare very personal details about the people in and no longer in her life. She'll start telling me a normal story, and I somehow end up knowing about this person's trauma, sexuality, chronic illness, financial issues, family drama, hygiene habits, and so much more. All really personal stuff that would have been told in confidence and feels unnecessary for me to know. On top of that, she regularly goes into explicit detail about her sex life. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll talk a little bit about my own sex life. And on top of that, she regularly goes into explicit detail about her sex life. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll talk a little bit about my own sex life, and it's not uncommon for friends to do so. That's not the problem. The issue is that almost every time we hang out, our conversations always somehow end up being around sex and what she and her partner do in the bedroom. I've tried changing the subject, but it usually returns to the overly intimate details. Sometimes she'll talk for 10 plus minutes straight, and I can't even get one word in. I've tried so many times too. I find myself zoning out because I'm uncomfortable, and honestly, I become uninterested in the conversation. I truly don't think she has any bad intentions, and I don't want to hurt her feelings. I don't enjoy constant sex talk and hearing deeply personal info about people I don't even know. It makes me wonder what she shares about me when I'm not around. Would I be the asshole if I told her I'm not comfortable with the oversharing and asked her to tone it down? No, because at this point, this friendship is only benefiting her. It's really not benefiting you because it's stressing you out, all the content that you have to listen to from her end. It really doesn't seem like you get much chance to share either. I think at the bare minimum, it is fair for you to tell her you're not comfortable and ask her to tone down the sex talk, ask her to tone down the oversharing in general. Based on how unaware she seems of these tendencies of hers, I don't know that telling her anything would help. It's worth a try, but especially your part at the end here where you wonder what she says about you when you're not around, I would be very cautious of exactly what you are telling her in any setting. And I would probably distance myself from someone like this. Because if they're willing to talk about other people in and out of their life with you like this, there's probably other people that they're talking about you like this. Story number 2 is coming to us from r/AITAH. AITAH for replacing everything my wife loses when she organizes against my will. My wife and I each have private rooms in our house. Nothing weird, no locks on the doors. They are just our private areas. We also have areas of responsibility. She has the kitchen and I have the garage. That means that when I use the kitchen to cook and when I clean up, I return it to the order that she has determined is best. When she uses the garage for some project, all my tools get put back where they belong and she cleans up after herself. The problem is that she is a neat freak. She cannot stand clutter. I, on the other hand, have no problem putting my purchases in my room to deal with later. Whether it's toys or computer parts, I will leave them in the corner until I get to them. My personal mess does not pass the threshold of my door. My wife sees this as a personal insult. She will go into my area and organize. No. And then she will forget where she put my stuff. So I've started replacing whatever it is she loses. For example, I like to wear black Carhartt coveralls when I'm working in the garage or riding my motorcycle. So if I spot some on sale, I will buy them and put them in the closet until I wear out the ones I'm currently using. She decided that coveralls don't belong folded in the closet. I finally wore the ass out of the ones I was using. I went into my closet and the spare set was missing. I asked her where they went and she couldn't remember. She looked through all the closets and the laundry room and she couldn't find them. So I went and bought new ones out of our fun budget. Now she is upset because she eventually found the other pair in with all the Christmas gifts. She buys Christmas gifts all year long whenever she finds a good sale on something. She thinks I could have been more patient. I think she should stay out of my room. Or at the very least, not take things out of the room without making a note of where she moved them. No, I don't think you're the asshole for replacing everything she loses when she's organizing against your will, specifically for the reason that you each have private rooms. You have private rooms for a reason. And I honestly think that's a great plan for you to have your own space where you don't have to compromise. You don't have to try to be really neat in your own room because it's behind a closed door. She's not going to see it. I really love this idea. And she is not respecting your private space by going in there and organizing. She didn't have to go in there. She didn't have to open the door. It didn't need to be organized. It didn't need to be neat. She knew when she went in there that with it being your space and you not caring about clutter and not being a neat freak, she knew what it was going to look like. Honestly, her stress level will be lower if she would just not go in your room, just pretend that door doesn't exist, just keep on walking past it. No, I think you're right. She shouldn't have been in there organizing in the first place. And the fact that she organized so absent-mindedly that she couldn't even remember where she put it, shows a little bit of disregard for you. Not huge, like nobody's breaking up here, but yeah, she just shouldn't have been in there. So I don't blame you for taking the money out of your fun money to replace what she lost that was yours that she shouldn't have had her hands on in the first place. You're right. Okay, story number 3 is coming to us from r/AITAH. AITAH for choosing my wife over my mom. I, 32 male, have been married to my wife, 33 female, for 5 years. I lost my dad when I was 16. I'm an only child. Life was rough after he passed, but my mom is one of the strongest women I know. I was shattered and she held everything together. I love her more than anything. I met my wife in first year of college. We've basically grown up together. She's my world. Right now, the 3 of us live together in our apartment. My mom is getting older and needs care, and I feel lucky that I have the 2 most important women in my life under one roof. Both my wife and I have good careers. We're ambitious and doing well. And yes, we don't have a child. That's a conscious decision. I'm okay either way. I love kids and would love to have one someday, but my wife doesn't want one right now. Maybe not ever. We've had long conversations about it. I have never forced her. It's her body. She's at the peak of her career. She says she doesn't feel ready for motherhood and doesn't know if she ever will. I respect that. The issue is my mom desperately wants a grandchild. For the past year, she's been emotionally pushing. Subtle comments. You'll understand when you have your own. Don't wait too long. Women regret it later. I kept brushing it off, hoping it would fade. 2 days ago, we had guests over who brought their kids. After they left, my mom looked at my wife and said, "You can't even give me one grandchild? Isn't that what women are meant to do? Your biological clock is already expiring." My wife immediately said, "Isn't it my decision whether I want to have a child?" It turned into a heated argument. I stepped in and told my mom, "Please stop forcing us. It's her decision. Whatever she decides is final. You don't get to talk to her like that." I won't lie. My tone was harsh. I've never raised my voice at my mom before, ever. I've always been respectful. But this time I snapped. I've been ignoring these comments for a year, and hearing her question my wife's worth as a woman just broke something in me. Now my mom hasn't spoken to me in 2 days. The house feels tense. I feel guilty for shouting at the woman who sacrificed everything for me. But I also feel like if I hadn't stepped in, I would have failed my wife. My mom hasn't been eating well and mentioned she wants to move out. AITAH for losing my temper and shouting on my old mom like this? No, I don't think so. Of course, raising your voice, shouting was not the correct thing. It's not the best thing. Like, you could have stepped in with a stern tone without a raised voice. Yes. But you tolerated this behavior for a year. No one can be surprised or really blame you for, after a year, finally snapping. For a year living in, I don't know if it's you guys' apartment or her apartment, either way, but you all three live in a shared space. And after, like, she spent a whole year devaluing your wife, trying to force you guys to do something that you don't want to do, making her feel less than because she chose a different path than your mom did. That's not fair. That's not right. Honestly, it's cruel. So I don't think, I want to say you're right, because you're right. If you hadn't stepped in, honestly, should have stepped in sooner. But if you hadn't stepped in when they were having this heated argument and you know your mom was wrong, you would have failed your wife. You're right. And there you would have been putting your marriage in jeopardy. I understand that both of these women are your whole world. They're incredibly important to you. I think you did the right thing standing up for your wife, because at this point, your mom should have left it alone. Like, you can want a grandchild with your whole heart. You can want it as bad as you want, but that's not a decision that you actually ever get to make. You get to decide whether or not you have children, but once your kids are adults, you don't get to decide what they do, whether or not you like it. So it is unfortunate that you raised your voice, but you're not wrong that you lost your temper, and you're not wrong that you stepped in and stood up for your wife. I think it's just an unfortunate situation. I think it will be great if you can go to your mom, like, sit down with her, apologize for losing your temper, apologize for raising your voice, say that is not something that you meant to happen, but make it clear that, she has made these unnecessary and rather cruel, devaluing comments for a year. Your wife doesn't deserve it. You don't deserve it. And you're done tolerating that. Like, if she, make it clear that you want her there, you love her, you value her, you want all three of you to continue having a good relationship, but you're not going to tolerate her treating your wife like this any longer. She doesn't have a right to. Ugh. Yeah, you're not wrong. It's just unfortunate the way it came out. Story number 4 is coming to us from r/AIO. AIO, my long distance girlfriend had a guy sleep over, and I don't love it. Immediately no. Backstory. She, 32, lives in Denver, and I, 40, in New York. We've been dating about 2 years. The distance is tough, but we've made it work. She recently mentioned to me that a guy friend from home was going to stay with her over the weekend. The weekend in question, last weekend, Valentine's Day. I didn't love it, but I'm also not a person that likes to put my foot down and tell others how to live. So when I brought it up, I mostly just told her I didn't like it and that it made me uncomfortable. I told her that I wouldn't tell her not to, but that I wanted to be honest about my feelings. I trust her, but I don't know him or have any reason to trust him. Not to mention, I know dudes. According to her, he slept on an air mattress in the living room. Her response was annoying. She told me she didn't understand why I'd be upset about it. She's known him for years, but she also said she didn't want to ever upset me, so she'd try and give me more notice in the future. To me, that doesn't resolve anything. Knowing I don't like it, telling me 5 days in advance or 4 weeks doesn't really change anything. Am I too traditional? Am I being ridiculous? No. No, you're absolutely not being too traditional with just not wanting your girlfriend to have another guy sleeping over in her place without you there. Um, yeah, my husband would take the same view of it, just harsher. He would flip his lid if I was like, "Oh, yeah, some guy's gonna come sleep in the guest room while you're gone somewhere." He's never gone. But while you're gone somewhere else, yeah, some guy's gonna be in the guest room. No, he would flip his lid. He would come back. That's not, and maybe we're really traditional, but that's not an acceptable situation to happen. You're not being ridiculous. You made your feelings clear. You were not controlling, but you told her you didn't like it. You told her why. And I don't really think she either understands your perspective or respects your perspective, because she didn't change her mind about anything. She didn't alter her behavior. She just said, "Oh, I'll give you more notice. Next time I'm going to do something I know you don't like." Relationships have give and take, they have compromise. And if this is like a big sticking point for you, it should be important enough for her. She should care enough about your feelings to say, "Oh, I didn't realize it would upset you. I'll find some other arrangement for him." That would have been, in my mind, the right thing to do. You are not overreacting. All right, story number 5 is coming to us from r/AIO. AIO by breaking up with LDR boyfriend. Okay, so basically, I was dating this man for 2 months, talking for 3 to 4. We had never met in person. I only had 2 photos of him with his face in them. I also had never video chatted with him. He told me he was very shy and insecure due to his past, so I tried my best to be patient. He was and still is a very sweet man, but I couldn't look past the fact that he wouldn't video chat. I felt like I needed some verifications that those photos were him. I felt terrible hurting his heart, but I just felt as if I couldn't trust him. Was this a silly reason to break up? No. No. That everything about this sounds really sketchy, because you can be as shy and insecure, but if you're talking to someone for 3 to 4 months and you want to be officially dating, I don't think that hits the bar. I feel like after 3 to 4 months, he should have trusted you enough to be able to get on a video call. Because what's the worst that can happen? This is weird. No, honestly, I don't think it should have gone on for as long as it did. So there's that. Story number 6 is coming to us from r/WIBTA_AITA. Would I be the asshole if I refused to give my friend my card info for one payment because he hit his limits? Immediately, no. So my friend and I have been close for a few years. We game sometimes, grab coffee, complain about life, the usual. Lately, though, he's been a little messy with money in a way that makes me uneasy. Not like he's starving or anything, just weird stuff like borrowing from one friend then forgetting to pay back until someone reminds him twice. A couple months ago, he admitted he had some debts he was handling, but he got defensive if anyone asked what that meant. I didn't think it was my business, but I noticed a pattern of him always needing something urgently and always promising it will be fixed tomorrow. Yesterday, he messaged me out of nowhere like, "Hey, can you help me real quick? I just need to make one payment and my bank has limits." It's super dumb. He said if I just send him my card details or let him use my card for this one payment, he'll send me the money back the same day. I asked what the payment was for and he got kind of vague. Like, "It's just a thing, don't worry about it. I'm really late. I'm already late." Then he started rushing me like, "I need it right now, please. I'm on a timer." I told him I'm not comfortable giving my card info, but I could maybe send him money directly if he tells me exactly what it's for. He immediately flipped into, "Wow, so you don't trust me, and I wouldn't ask if I had another option." He also said he can't do a transfer because of his limits, which is why he needs my card, not my money. The part that really got to me is he kept pushing and pushing and doing that guilt thing. Like, "I thought we were brothers, and it's one payment, and you're making it a big deal." He even said if I don't help him, he's going to get in trouble, and it'll be on me, which felt manipulative. I tried to stay calm and just said I'm not sharing my card details with anyone, not even family. It's a boundary. Then he got cold and said, "Okay, fine, I'll figure it out myself. Thanks for nothing," and hasn't talked to me since. Now I'm second guessing myself because maybe I'm being paranoid and a bad friend, but also it feels like a massive red flag that he wants my card info and is refusing any safer option. Would I be the asshole if I stick to my no and let him be mad about it? No. No. This is really sketchy. Um Not necessarily that he's run into hard times and needs financial help. That's not the worst thing here. To me, it is the rush, the manipulation, the guilting. Like, he got to the point where he doesn't care how it affects anybody else. He just needs this right now, like an addict needs a fix. Really weird. And the way that you said, like, I would probably help you if you tell me what it's for, and doesn't need the help bad enough to be honest with you. That's the part that's sketchy. No, I don't think you're the asshole. I think you're right. This could really go down a rabbit hole. I mean, depending on like where the card information is going, you might, I mean, you don't know, like, is it saving the card info? Is it going to use it for an automatic payment plan, recurring charges? You really don't know. So, like, if I wouldn't, but if I did, like, give my card info to somebody acting like this, I would, like, the very next day or later that same day, cancel the card and request a new one to make sure, like, nothing further happened. And that's a big hassle. But no, this is a super sketchy situation. You're right. Don't give in. No, I don't trust it. Okay, that is 6 stories for this week's episode of Was I in the Wrong? Thank you so much for being here for another episode of the Misty Morrison podcast.